You're listening to The Dollop on the All Things Comedy Network. It's an American history podcast, and each week I, Dave Anthony, read a story from American history with my buddy.
Gareth Reynolds, who has no idea what the topic is going to be about.
Why? Why don't you, Gareth Reynolds?
Just that's how we do it. And I don't really understand what's happening right now, but I certainly don't like it.
We're talking to Gareth Reynolds from The Dollop about the inner workings of The Dollop.
What?
What is it you don't like about being interviewed, Gareth?
I was not prepared for that right now. So I do not like that.
You don't like...
The fact that you're turning the intro of the podcast into an interview thing, which makes no sense.
I don't know if it's an interview thing as much as it is an interview.
I don't want to do this. If you have... All right, give me some questions. What are your questions?
What was it like growing up, and when did you become afraid of history?
All right. Okay, we're good. We're good here. Feel good.
I'm talking to Gareth Reynolds from The Dollop about his podcast. At what point did you become David Anthony's nemesis?
Okay, I'm not going to do this because we're not nemesi. And you're Dave. It's just stupid. The whole thing is incredibly stupid.
When did you stop yes-anding improvisation?
When it's based so close.
Okay.
My name's Gary.
My name's Gary.
Wait.
Is it for fun?
And this is not going to become the Tiggly podcast.
Okay.
This is like
On a
anarchy.
5-part coefficient.
My room's a flame.
Now hit him with the puppy.
You both present sick arguments.
No sleep till hippo.
That's like the hippo.
Action part.
Hi, Gary.
No.
Nicely done, my friend.
Hey,
Hey, buddy.
how are you?
Good. You back to normal? Feel okay?
What are you talking about?
Okay, good.
Did you do that interview with the guy I sent over?
You can. We have a lot of dates coming up, Dave. You want? Well, first I'll say this: I have an album called "Riddled with Disease." You can buy at my website, GarethReynolds.com. Also, I will be in Australia at the end of January into February. I've added dates to Perth and Adelaide. Celebrate. Adelaide, I'll be there. Celebrate. Well, the 24th and 25th of January. Did I say June before? I meant January. Okay. And then the 23rd of January, I will be in Perth. I'm at the Rhino Room in Adelaide, and I'm at Rosie O'Grady's in Perth.
And then we'll be on tour. The Dollop is heading out on the road for a lot of dates. We're going to be in San Jose, San Francisco, Salt Lake City, Denver, Vancouver at the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, 2 shows in Seattle, both of which are now on sale, 2 shows in Portland, both of which are now on sale, Houston, Austin, Dallas, Oklahoma City, Nashville, another festival, St. Louis, Kansas City, Des Moines, West Palm Beach, Tampa, Orlando, Louisville, Indianapolis.
You hear Aaron say "Go Cards" when you said St. Louis? Did you say Vancouver? You did.
I did say Vancouver, and my response to that is keep it down. You know, we're not here to hear your baseball opinions.
Yeah, no, this is a faux interview show about the show we're doing,
I don't know if you...
which has a side of Nemesis chat.
We do Nemesis chats.
Yeah. It's like a fireside, but a Nemeside.
Yeah. I think a lot of people listening to this podcast are exploring the sort of complicated and exciting world of being a nemesis and what it means, and you know, it's always been sort of a cartoony thing, but now people are really sort of getting a taste of the...
Oh, it's nice for them to have a grounded one to
the ins and
be able to
outs
get their hands around. Yeah, that's good.
Of what it's like to actually understand a nemesis relationship.
Sure, and I'm doing a podcast on using fewer words. You should listen to it. You'd like it. It'd really help you. You know what I'm saying? Go Cards!
Aaron tells me my favorite pitcher is now no longer on the Giants, but I stopped paying attention to the Giants. So
That's right. You like football now.
I'm a huge football
Your
guy.
team won today, barely. Did you know that?
Barely.
Yeah, barely.
They like to hold it to the last bit.
Okay, the last
Just
bit.
like they did against New Orleans.
Listen to
you know,
this
they
guy.
hold on to the last
Listen to
minute.
this guy.
They didn't have to do it against your team. Your team was over. That game was over in the first minute and a half. I would
That
say
game was over
It
pretty
was
fast.
10-0 in under 2 minutes,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Your your team fell down and rolled the ball into the end zone or something.
We
They went,
thought that's how we
"Woo!"
scored.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was silly.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, and my team has also won the Super Bowl more recently than your team, and that's one of the best quarterbacks. Where are you going? You can't leave. It's not how arguments work. You don't just get to. Well, actually, it is how arguments work. What are you looking for?
I was looking for the pluggy.
Oh.
I guess it rolled somewhere.
Oh, just like the Packers football. So for those of you listening right now who are like, why is the show coming to a dramatic halt? Dave is Buster Keatoning around the room looking for an outlet for his iPad. And he found one.
I'm just
Look at
going to
that.
cut that out.
Turn the Benny Hill music off, Aaron. It's over.
You're quite the butthole. I'm trying to keep this professional.
That's my new album title.
Quite the butthole?
Quite the butthole. I like it.
I was driving over here and I was listening to... God, I'm so tired. What's the guy's name? Fucking...
That's not
like
a
the
lot
best
of hints so
comedian,
far.
Whitebeard. What?
Whitebeard,
Oh, Graybeard.
Graybeard. The
He
best
was like
comedian?
the fucking classic old guy. Carlin.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I know you're talking about one of the greats, but the idea that even Carlin goes like, yeah, okay.
That's right. Whenever I listen to it on...
What will my legacy be? George, you'll be known for your beard.
I was listening to it on my phone, and then I was listening to it on iTunes Music, and they just stopped halfway through. And I couldn't
that's
get
how
it to
George
play.
wanted
I
it.
couldn't get it to play again. I was
George
like,
always said
it was
stop
very
it.
fitting, wasn't it?
Well, a lot of people like the setup more than anything. They just like to hear like, oh, there's a map. I don't need to know if he got there.
September 12th, 1944, year of our Lord Jesus Christ. We thank the Lord for the stuff we're about to receive, and go get them.
Really?
Leonard
good.
Peltier was born in Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Okay. What's his name? Peltier?
Peltier.
Peltier.
His mother was half Sioux, and his father was 3/4 Ojibwa.
Okay.
His father served in Germany during World War II, where Leonard said he was, quote, machine gunned in the legs,
Wow.
but survived.
Okay.
I don't know if his legs were still there, but...
Probably not super functional. You're machine gunned?
He was machine gunned in the... Wait, that's a lot of bullets.
Well, those bullets come out fast.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that is synonymous with machine guns.
Yeah. Leonard's parents separated when he was 4. Leonard and his younger sister then moved in with their paternal grandparents at a small ranch on the Turtle Mountain Indian Reservation in North Dakota, 10 miles south of Canada.
Okay.
In 1950, they moved to Montana, and soon after they were living there, 3 white kids
Here we go.
started throwing rocks at Leonard one day
Here we go.
while yelling, quote, hey, you dirty Indian, go home. I don't care if you're a fucking kid. Is there a dumber thing to yell in America? Is there a dumber sentence in American history than, hey, Indian, go home? Is there a dumber one?
You can only equal it. I don't
How?
know. I don't know. I'm just leaving the door open because I haven't heard it yet, but I would hate to say that is, but it is. I mean, the answer's like,
Yeah. It's not great.
no, it should clearly be Leonard throwing rocks, being like, go home, white people.
That's right. One rock hit Leonard. So he, quote, picked up a rock the size of a marble, and I hit him on the temple. I seen blood, and with his screaming, I panicked and ran straight home.
Okay. I mean, by the way, that is what we like to call Americans' foreign policy.
Well, he hit, I mean, you know, he was right to throw a rock back.
Yes, but then the second that you get hit, you're like, wait,
Yeah. Oh, no,
we're the
shit's
victims.
on!
You did it. You did it.
Sure enough, the kid's mother came to his home yelling that Leonard had tried to kill her son.
Clearly, yep.
Yeah.
Right.
His grandmother did not speak English, so she was unable to answer.
Cool.
This just made the white woman more angry.
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, if you're here, learn our language. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
And she called his grandmother a, quote, stupid Indian bitch.
Where do you think the kid got this from?
I don't know.
This energy and this.
Well, when he was yelling, when they were throwing
level
rocks
of ignorance.
at, yeah, I don't know.
Probably comics, video games.
She said she was going to have the entire family jailed. The next day, the
White people, yeah, white people, white people, yeah, white people.
The next day, the Peltiers moved back to North Dakota.
Why?
I don't know.
Weird. Economy.
Yeah, it was the economy. They couldn't get a job there. In late 1952, Leonard's grandfather died of pneumonia. The family struggled. And in 1953, Leonard was sentenced to a Wahpeton Indian school. We've never done an episode on Indian schools, but essentially they put Native Americans.
You have a long, weird hair that's not yours
That's
coming
mine.
out of your chin.
That's mine.
It's not yours. Okay.
Essentially, it was to completely strip them of their Native American culture.
God. That should not be called Indian school.
Yeah. The forced assimilation to
Indoctrination Nation.
to white American culture by forbidding any Native American culture. Upon arriving,
Well,
quote,
I mean, that is so. That really is like.
I mean, it's been done throughout history.
And it's slow erosion of this shit, but it's so.
Were you around in England when you were a kid when they would not say the names of Irish things on the television and it would just be
Not
blank?
old enough to remember that,
Okay,
but
I
I'm
mean,
sure I was, yeah.
I think when they talked about the IRA
Right.
or they certainly did not allow the Irish to speak their native tongue.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So it would just be a blank, nothing happening on the TV. Like it's historical. It's been going on forever. You don't let people speak language. You don't let them have their culture,
Right.
and you break them.
Right.
It's the same thing they did in Wales. They
No,
did.
it's like you're breaking the cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except in this way, it's your personal history, which is cool. It's cool to do.
Upon arriving, quote, our heads were cut military style. Next, we were
Hair was cut.
Hair was cut. What did I
Okay.
say?
Heads.
Oh, well, he said heads.
Yeah, but I just want to clarify because otherwise.
Yeah, that's weird.
Military style head cut is not good. I don't know if you've seen the looks of those.
It's not the same at
It's
all
not
as a
great. It's not a
haircut.
great look.
Next, we were stripped and DDT was poured on us.
Jesus Christ.
And then we were marched in a line to wait for our turn to shower.
This is a school?
Yep. If there was any dirt or dead skin left, when we were finished, we were turned around and given a few hard whacks with a school ruler and told to go rewash. So essentially, prison.
Yes, right. Yeah.
That sounds like prison.
Yeah.
But again, the family cannot feed their kids, and they feel the only thing they can do to let them survive is to send them to these schools.
Sure.
Students were beaten for climbing trees,
Jesus.
for making their beds too slowly, and for speaking their native language.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
That's cool. And because they're kids,
Yeah.
it's not scary.
That's right.
Right.
After 4 years at Wahpeton, Leonard graduated in 1957. He moved in with his mother and in Grand Forks. That winter, they were low on fuel and were worried they would run out as a storm was approaching.
Okay.
So 13-year-old Leonard and a friend drove to an Army Reserve depot to steal some fuel. They were caught siphoning fuel from trucks, and Leonard spent the next 2 weeks in jail. 13.
Yeah. When he was like, this is better than school.
In mid-1958, his father took him back to the Turtle Mountain Reservation. At a tribal meeting, Leonard saw an old Ojibwa woman pleading for someone to help because her children were at home and they were slowly starving to death. 1958. Quote, she asked if there were no more warriors among our men. She said if there was, why did they not stand up and fight for the starving children? That day, Leonard vowed to help his people for the rest of his life.
There we go.
By 1959, as part of the government's termination policy
Jesus Christ.
to phase out reservations, Turtle Mountain's Bureau of Indian Affairs announced it would stop supplying free food.
Wow.
So it seems the opposite of a termination policy.
Yeah.
The Ojibwa took the Bureau of Indian Affairs superintendent hostage in his office and the Bureau relented.
Glad it worked.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
But this is what he's seeing, right? So
Right.
he's a teen, and he's
seeing the boot of the white man on the throat of his culture.
and then how you respond.
Right. Oh, and then that you can actually via violence and threats get somewhere.
At 17,
Good lesson.
Yeah, it is a very good lesson. At 17, Leonard moved to Seattle. When he was there, he got in a fight, and his jaw was broken. He was supposed to wear a brace, but he didn't.
Oh, his jaw was broken.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then one night he was partying, and he got into another fight.
No.
And his jaw was broken again.
It's fixed. Holy shit, you fixed it.
Quote, but this time the muscle didn't heal properly, and my jaw came out kind of stiff.
Yeah.
So the rest of his life, his jaw's a little stiff.
Yeah, okay.
Leonard joined the Marines to fight in Vietnam,
Okay.
but he was discharged due to his jaw. Now,
Okay.
I didn't actually dig into that, but I'm betting
It was
it was a financial thing. I just can't imagine. I mean, maybe it wasn't. But
the reason why he joined.
yeah,
Right.
I just can't imagine him based on who I know the person is.
Right.
But, maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
He worked as a welder and construction worker in Seattle. And by
Leonard, your jaw's getting close to that flame.
By 1965, 20-year-old Leonard co-owned a Seattle auto body shop. He turned the second floor into a halfway house for Native Americans who were struggling with alcohol and people who had just gotten out of prison because they were all struggling to live off the reservation.
Of course, yeah.
Someone who knew him at the time later said, quote, Leonard always had girls and money in his pocket because he's a real good worker and people liked him. He's always been good-hearted. He just liked to laugh and tease. In 1968, President Johnson ended a termination policy
Okay.
and began the long process of restoring sovereignty to over 100 tribes.
Okay. That's
There's
so little.
There's still tribes struggling for sovereignty, particularly in California, Los Angeles. Also, I believe our tribe does not have sovereignty, the native tribe here. That year, the American Indian Movement, which I will now call AIM, was founded. Its leaders were Ojibwa Dennis Banks, Oglala Lakota Russell Means. In 1970, Leonard took part in his first AIM action, a takeover of Fort Lawton outside Seattle. Leonard and 13 others were beaten by police and arrested, and then beaten again in their cells. Leonard refused to leave the jail until the others had all been released.
Wow.
One later said,
I mean, really, the depth of character to do that is crazy. For them to be like, "You're free to go," is like, I'm
not fucking leaving until everybody's
that's
gone.
Crazy.
One later said he was, quote, already a leader. Well, we can't have brown leaders in America. Leonard attended an AIM meeting in Minnesota where Dennis Banks said if the AIM wanted to be taken seriously, they had to cut down on all the drinking, drugs, partying, groupies, and the, quote, Saturday Night Warriors.
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
I mean, I feel like that's like a party crew.
Yeah, party crew must be. Leonard quit drinking on the spot.
Wow.
In 1971, he returned to Turtle Mountain, but he was missing the activism, and he moved with Banks to Los Angeles. But Leonard did not like L.A. Quote, it seemed to me like kind of a jungle.
Fair. A concrete one.
He moved to Milwaukee to help the Indian community there with alcoholic issues.
Okay.
I'll be using Indian a lot because those are the words he used.
Okay.
In October 1972, the AIM organized the Trail of Broken Treaties,
Wow.
which was a car caravan from the West Coast to Washington, D.C., to gain attention for the AIM and its plan for justice from the American government.
Okay.
Leonard was in charge of security in D.C., and when they got there, President Nixon refused to meet with the leaders, so the AIM occupied the Bureau of Indian Affairs headquarters for 5 days.
Wow.
70s were great. They caused property damage and took documents they said proved government discrimination.
Wow. 5 days. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, like today, think of how long that would actually last. How long would that last?
There were so many
30 minutes?
takeovers back then.
Yeah, no. There were, and well, I mean, just in general, like
Yeah.
sit-ins and shit where it was just like, where you would just be like, all right, they are expressing themselves, and they would let you do it. And now they would like have a battering ram and like drag you out and
you know, the left was more the left back then. There's not.
Well, there was a left.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that back then you would consider a lot of Democrats the left, but now I don't think you would. So
because they're the right.
Yeah.
Right.
So Leonard returned to Milwaukee, and on November 22nd, 1972,
I'm from Milwaukee, FYI.
Yeah, trust me. In November 22nd, 1972, he and a friend were at a restaurant when two white men started pointing and laughing at them.
I'm not from there. Did you know that about me?
I didn't.
I'm not from there.
Leonard said, quote, "What the fuck's so funny?"
Great.
As you're supposed to do when someone's pointing at you, laughing at you.
For sure. You throw the pebble.
Yeah. The white men pulled out their guns.
Well, that's when you're like, boy, the guy's behind you.
No, the other guy's not
two
laughing.
guys behind
You're fine because
you.
you're laughing and pointing. The guys behind you are ignoring
They're
us.
laughing and not pointing, which I take issue with.
Turns out these were plainclothes cops.
But
I know.
even then, there's zero justification for firearms.
You still get to tell cops. You still get to say to a cop. You should be able to say to a cop in America, "What the fuck's so funny?" But it will, in some instances, get you killed, and a lot of instances get you arrested.
But it wouldn't have a while ago. Like
No,
you could.
I mean, things have changed.
Yeah.
But
I
mean, if you're brown, you're always getting
right. That is the difference.
But if you're a white guy back then, you could probably get away.
Fuck you. He's like, hey, settle down.
I mean, they were busting a lot of heads. You know, we're talking about Vietnam.
Yeah.
Leonard was handcuffed and put into a paddy wagon. One of the cops started, quote, beating on me like a stepchild.
That's not a great phrase.
I mean, it's not. I mean,
It's a telling way of putting it.
And in all the
That would be like if you went out with someone who was pounding a lot of booze and you're like, you drink like a father.
And in all the skirmishing around, my coat gets ripped open and this old piece falls out. Hell, it was an old busted Beretta. Couldn't even fire. I had just given a guy $20 for it as a favor, figuring I might get it fixed sometime. One of the cops claimed Leonard took it out and pulled the trigger twice, but it did not fire.
There we go.
Leonard was charged with attempted murder. The cop's girlfriend...
Jesus.
Now, the cop's girlfriend later say that he had previously right before this, he had waved a photo of Leonard at her while claiming he was going to, quote, catch a big one for the FBI. Milwaukee, they can catch a Native American, but not a guy eating people in his apartment.
By the way, Native American name of the town. Every city there is Native American named. They're like, get him. Yeah.
Leonard served 5 months before...
And they caught Dahmer. By the way.
Well, some other guys got eaten after that. I mean,
They come on. Name one clue.
the naked guy running, screaming, "Please help me."
Name one other clue.
Please help me. Not even a guy, a young teen.
Yes,
a young teen.
Yes.
I believe he was Laotian.
I was going to say, okay, something like that.
Running in the street naked, saying, "Please, God, help me."
Yes.
And the cops laughed it off and let
because
Dahmer...
Jeffrey came over and said, "This guy's on some drugs. He's been drinking." Come on. Let me tell, okay, you went to college. You didn't ever have a friend who ran down the street naked screaming, "Help me, help me, help me," because he was afraid of the man who had a skull shrine in his apartment? Get over yourself, mister. You can cast a lot of dispersions if you like, but let me tell you something. The police force in Milwaukee was right on top of Dahmer at the right time. They caught him after he ate only 13. Get over it.
Leonard served...
Just a regular chocolate factory worker.
Leonard served 5 months before the AAM was able to post his bail.
Wow.
During that time, the Pine Ridge Tribal Council president, Richard Wilson, created the Guardians of the Oglala Nation.
Okay.
Also called Goons.
Okay.
A white security force on...
So literally goons calling their organization goons?
And created by a Native American who's in charge.
Well,
it's old school. And we're seeing it now. Old school versus young school. We're seeing a serious breakdown in...
But the idea, what is the Native American who...
He wants to have a white force. It's authoritarianism, controlling the reservation.
Okay. Seems...
Yeah, I didn't really look into him because there was a lot going on here. Wilson was rabidly against the AIM.
Okay.
So the Goon Squad attacked Native American opponents on the Pine Ridge Reservation. This led to fighting and an armed takeover of Wounded Knee by AIM and Lakota men.
And the year again is
This is
like 59?
1972.
72? Oh, right, 72.
Yeah.
And what you just said was that there was a white invasion of a reservation.
Well, not an invasion. He just hired a bunch of...
Well, still, like...
I mean, essentially. I mean, look, the whites already control it. And they just...
Whites walking on a reservation controlling.
Yeah. It was a 71-day standoff between...
Holy shit.
Basically the AIM, the Lakota, the Goons, the Tribal Council, and the FBI and law enforcement on the other side, right? When Leonard got out, he headed straight for Wounded Knee, but it ended before he arrived. He did not think he was going to get justice in court for the, fake trying to shoot me charge. So he went to Seattle and missed his July pretrial hearing, making him a fugitive.
Right.
On October 17th, Pedro Bissonette, who was at the takeover of Wounded Knee, was killed by the Bureau of Indian Affairs Police, who claimed he had resisted arrest.
That old chestnut.
Yeah, the classic. Then, October 21st, a car registered in Leonard's name took part in a shootout with BIA police near Bissonette's funeral.
Okay.
The two officers received minor injuries. The car got away, so they couldn't say who was in it.
Okay.
On September 20th, Leonard was arrested near Seattle with other AIM members and charged with possession of illegal weapons. Leonard gave a false name, skipped bail, and went underground.
Nice.
Yeah, God, remember when you could just give a fake name?
Dave, I remember so clearly being able to give fake names in high school. It was all I would do.
It was the best.
If you had no ID, they'd be like, what's your name? You'd be like, John Tinseltorp.
Jimmy Jan Thompson?
Yeah, they'd be like, all right, date of birth? Wait, you're 48? Yep. Wait a minute. This is not...
In March 1985...
Now that'll be facial recognition, which will be better.
In March 1975, Banks called for, quote, warriors to come to Pine Ridge and help out with the goons.
Lawyers.
He said the goons were, quote, shooting into houses and throwing bottles at cars and just running all over the traditional people.
Jesus.
Nearly everyone on the reservation at this point was armed. Few dared to walk outside. During March, at least 7 people, including 2 children, were killed on the Pine Ridge Reservation.
Wow.
BIA police showed a little interest in getting involved. Yeah, because they're like, hey, look.
It's taken care of.
Yeah, it's taking care of itself.
Yeah.
When has that ever not gone away?
No.
Jesus. Right. They told one woman 2 of her relatives had died accidentally. One had been hanged, and the other chopped to pieces with an axe.
An accident. They stumbled, the lady.
She stumbled 34 times into an axe. That happened.
Listen, she was. We had a noose hung up for a piñata thing we're doing later.
He jumps
and
high in the air.
He was running and he tripped and he fell up the stairs. Up the stairs. And neck first into the noose. We run up to help. Bottom drops out. They gone.
Same time, your boy Jimmy, he's accidentally getting hurt 30, 35, 40 times with an axe. That happens because when you put an axe on a swingy thing.
And you're also probably saying, why did you not recognize this to be a person? Well, she was wearing a log costume.
Thank you.
And
anyway,
I thought this was one of those. She was resisting a log.
Case is closed.
Yep.
We looked into all this.
Yep. So that's it. We burned them.
Another episode of Bureau of Indian Agency Police.
Good guys.
On April 2nd, the FBI issued a fugitive alert for Leonard, saying he was armed and dangerous. Mm-hmm. In May, Leonard's group...
Wouldn't it be great if they put that out for the FBI at some point? To just be fair. We are armed and dangerous. Okay, that's good to hear.
In May, Leonard's group moved on to the Dollop property of the Jumping Bull family. It became like a local tribal community center. They had free alcohol counseling, auto repair, firewood, and a community garden. Just so you know, Native Americans still don't have enough firewood.
Right.
Like today, on reservations, they are freezing in their homes because they don't have enough fucking fuel to burn. The Oglala community loved them, and especially Leonard, who took over as leader when Banks left. Leonard also had a huge personality. An Oglala resident, quote, crazy guy, but fun, good crazy, not nuts, really fun to be around.
Easy. You can't say crazy too many times before people are like, is he crazy?
But so by this time, Leonard had 7 children from 2 marriages and 2 adopted children.
Okay.
So he's a big family.
He's
guy.
out there.
On June 23rd, the Oglala Lakota Jimmy Eagle stole the cowboy boots of a white man during a drunken fight on the reservation.
Okay. My guess is that this white gentleman lets clarity sink in and calmly asks for his boots back.
He said Eagle had used a knife. Eagle denied using a knife, but he was carrying it, and he was charged with felony robbery and assault with a deadly weapon. Now, this gave the FBI jurisdiction. It's a felony.
Right.
A warrant was put out for his arrest. On June 25th, FBI agents Ronald Williams and Jack Collier entered the Jumping Bull property looking for Eagle. They were told that he hadn't been seen in a few days. And they were more than one building. They went into a small building, but did not go into the main compound building.
Okay.
The next morning, a resident was driving a half mile away when he saw 150 law enforcement men gathered. Before noon, agents
Picnic?
Williams and Collier returned. It is not known who shot first.
Oh, boy.
But a gunfight started. Besides AAM members, many non-member locals were there, including at least 8 children and 3 pregnant women. Most started running away as the shooting went on. Leonard and a few others stayed. William and Collier were both shot non-fatally from a distance.
Okay.
Then 1 or more people walked up to the 2 agents and shot them 3 times each from close range, killing them. No law enforcement saw the shootings.
Right.
They were immediately surrounded by FBI, BIA police, local and state police, U.S. Marshals, SWAT teams, goons, and other local white agitators. Assholes.
Right.
Agitators, assholes. Leonard's crew believed, quote, we were in all probability going to die before the day was done. They were not just going to arrest us, they were going to kill us.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. Well, I mean, based on the track record, fair instinct.
A couple of things in this puzzle. Native Americans and FBI. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I'm done with my arguments.
I think it ends in pizza.
So, but then, quote, an eagle came out and flew down and sat in a tree above us and then flew away, and we knew that was the direction we should go. So they went in the direction the eagle went, and they got away.
What? Can you imagine if that goes south?
I know.
You're like, oh, no, they're in here, too.
Oh,
that
the fucking
stupid eagle.
God damn it. It was a
I
cop
wish-
eagle. A fucking cop eagle.
We got him. The eagle, we got him. I wish that my life was commanded more by...
God. What are you going to do today? Hold on. Wait, there's a puma.
I'm actually following a snake trail. I believe there's water nearby. Wait, what? Trust me.
At about 1:30 p.m., the law surrounded a cabin on the compound and ordered everyone to come out with their hands up. From inside, 2 men fired a warning shot, then made a run for it.
Okay.
The cops blasted away, shooting Joe Killswright through the head.
Last
It's
name
not,
wasn't
it's not a
helpful.
great name for
it's not
what
great.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bad.
Bad. It's an omen.
For
like
the
if
moment.
you're in a shootout with a guy named Killswright, you're like,
Yeah, it's not.
maybe we should separate.
The other man, his brother-in-law, escaped. After a few hours of walking, Leonard's group was seen by officers in the distance, and they opened fire. But then the eagle appeared again.
What? This eagle?
And again, they followed it to safety.
Jesus.
Best eagle ever.
Great eagle.
Special FBI and SWAT units were now flying in from all around the country, and a group of white ranchers called the Civil Liberties Organization, who owned some reservation land, were given a
no.
plane,
No.
a helicopter,
What?
a chemical warfare team, a team of snipers, and 4 SWAT teams.
What?
These are literally just asshole ranchers.
And they get all that?
They get essentially
And what are they? And
a
they're
military force.
Yes, and they're, which, by the way, used to sound crazy to just give to people, but and they're just now allowed to just.
Yeah, they're just going to go up part of the hunt.
Wow.
At 5:30 p.m., the white cops and white ranchers raided the main house on the compound. So they're involved in the fucking raid.
Wow.
It was an empty, but the main house is empty except for Joe.
It's like bring your white to work day.
It's empty except for Joe Kilwright's body.
Okay.
Kilswright's. Cecilia Jumping Bull returned later that evening, and an officer told her that 2 men had been killed on her property.
Okay.
Cecilia pointed at Kilswright's body and asked if that was one of them.
No.
That guy fell onto bullets.
No. Nope. Yeah?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. The officer said no. Quote, that's just an Indian.
Oh.
So when he
So
said
they'd been-
2 men had been killed,
He meant
he's
the white
saying
guys.
the white guys were killed, and that is
2
not
men were
a
killed.
human.
Right.
That is an
That's
what
a
is known as
policy.
an FBI
Right.
agent. Also, the family photos on the wall, all the family photos on the wall, everybody's been shot through their head in the family photo.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But it's weird when you give
That's
a bunch of rancher vigilantes and
Carte blanche and weapons.
SWAT team and
Yeah.
FBI and everything. Under darkness, Leonard's group made it to a remote cabin of Noah, wounded the uncle of an AIM member. At 4 a.m.
The eagle was in there making pancakes.
he goes like, "You guys, we're killing this."
You guys, what do you feel like, swimming? I got towels.
Follow me to a pond.
Come on, follow me.
So at 4 a.m. the next morning, a bomb shattered the windows at Mount Rushmore Visitor Center 80 miles away.
Wow.
No one was injured, but also no one claimed that they did it.
Okay.
That day, is the South Dakota Attorney General said it was time to stop being, quote, soft on the Indians just because they are a minority group.
White people, yeah, white people.
It's relentless.
It's relentless.
Relentless.
It's relentless.
It's everywhere.
Over the next days, Leonard's group slept under trees during the day and moved during the night. Leonard, with Dino Butler and Bob Ribideau, became the leaders. They spent July in various safe houses around Pine Ridge. An AIM spokesman said the AIM would, quote, not apologize for the deaths of the 2 FBI agents until the U.S. Justice Department apologized for the deaths of all those Indian warriors killed in the past 3 years.
What? Come on. Those were not warrior people.
Right, so basically at Pine Ridge, they just spent 3 years of fucking shootouts and just people getting killed left and right.
Yes.
And, I mean, tons of people have been killed.
Again, it's what happens when you're an occupying force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now two occupiers get killed, and you're like, oh, fucking dare
No.
you!
Well, yeah. Essentially, it is the policy of when you hold your finger in front of someone's face and you go, "Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Don't touch me!
100%.
Don't touch me!"
Yeah. And he said the FBI and he said the AIM would step up its See South Dakota Last anti-tourism campaign next year.
Now that is an interesting nod.
So the next year is 4th of July, the bicentennial. So huge celebration all over America.
Uh-huh.
And tourists are expected to just pour in to Mount Rushmore for the celebrations. And he's saying that they're going to start a campaign saying, you're not going to want to do that.
Right. Very smart.
The state attorney general said, quote, the only way to deal with these AM leaders is to put a bullet in their heads.
Jesus Christ.
That sounds like terrorism.
I mean, that's just not.
On July 4th, an FBI helicopter.
It's time to go back to England.
It's not great over there right now.
Well, it's not now.
On July 4th, an FBI helicopter was shot down over Pine Ridge with no casualties.
Wow.
On July 8th, Jimmy Eagle turned himself into police. The FBI began an investigation known as Resmers into the agents Collier's and Williams murders. Joe Kilswright's death was never investigated.
I mean, I was just about to say, it's just nice.
A guy running.
Yeah, a guy running, shot in the back, most likely. Nothing than two agents who...
Well, agents can do no wrong, right?
Yeah.
Even though they're doing complete wrong most of the time.
Take care of your own. As long as you're right.
Resmer's investigators were routinely breaking and entering to get evidence, and people will write to me and say, "The FBI are good guys." I could literally do a year of podcasts about the FBI. You could do a Dollop FBI,
right,
and have enough content for a fucking decade.
Right.
I mean, the FBI is insane. Just look at the terrorists they've arrested in America. It's all dudes they fucking duped who had no idea what was going on, and then like, we're the biggest terrorist arrest of all time, and it's a guy who's like, I just want a sandwich. Like, it's fucking crazy.
And some of the things that they have floated up the chain of possibility are, I mean, just crazy.
You know, nothing like a group that told MLK to kill himself.
Yeah. Right.
And his family thinks killed him. So Resmer's investigators were routinely breaking and entering to get evidence and illegally threatening and harassing suspects and witnesses. So they're just...
doing what they do.
Because it doesn't matter, because it's a reservation.
Yeah, and of course. And you are the law.
Resmer's led to 4 people being charged for the murder of the agents. Jimmy Eagle, Dino Butler, Bob Ribideau, and Leonard Peltier. The U.S. Civil Rights Commission called Resmer's, quote, an overreaction which takes on aspects of a vendetta.
Weird. And did they cite sources?
And that little has been done to solve numerous murders on the reservations, but when 2 white men are killed, troops are brought in from all over the country at a cost of hundreds of millions of dollars.
Truly, to which white people say, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's our thing.
That's what we're saying.
I mean, that's literally our thing.
Yeah, okay, so you get it, so I don't know what the problem is.
In August, Leonard's group split up. He made his way to California, and on September 5th, Dino Butler was arrested. On September 10th, Bob Ribideau was arrested in Kansas. He had Agent Collier's gun as well as an AR-15 from the trunk of the agent's car.
Okay.
Leonard was now the only one still at large.
Okay.
On November 14th, an Oregon State...
I mean, what a scary feeling. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On November 14th, an Oregon State trooper misread FBI instructions to keep a motorhome under surveillance.
Okay.
He misread it, and he thought he was supposed to stop it.
Okay. Wow. That's
a big
a
mistake.
great fuck up.
The first man out was, quote, a large Mexican-appearing person. He ordered him to lie face down on the road.
This is one of those times where like racism actually sort of works to your advantage.
Why is that? Because they think you're Mexican?
Yeah, because they're just like so inept at like being able to distinguish or care to differentiate that they're just like, all right, well, nothing here, just a Mexican. Good work.
2 women and a small child also got out of the motorhome. Then the Mexican-appearing man shot at the cop and started running into the woods as the cop returned fire.
As an eagle's like, this way.
That was, of course, Leonard. He was hit as he ran.
Jesus.
The driver of the motorhome, who also got away, was Dennis Banks. The motorhome had been given to Banks along with $10,000 by Marlon Brando.
Well, hello. I mean, honest to God, Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the good ones.
Yeah, I mean, there's some bad sexual stuff.
Crazy, but I mean, as far as like his attention to Native American rights, I'm talking specifically, was a guy who was like very much. Yeah, truly.
But again, this was a different Hollywood. Now Hollywood literally wouldn't give it. I mean, they just wouldn't care.
No, you tweeted about it.
Yeah.
Share a link.
Leonard was shot in the shoulder. He stole a pickup truck and went to Portland, where he stayed with a relative for 3 days. An AM supporting doctor treated his wounds.
Okay.
On November 18th, he went to Canada, where he stayed in a cabin until mid-December. He was joined by a few AIM members, including his good friend, Frank Black Horse. Black Horse would be, after this, he would be the subject of persistent rumors that he was really an Italian-American from Cleveland named Francis DeLuca. What was that woman's name? Rachel Dole?
Rachel Dole. What is it?
Dolezal. So essentially, he was Rachel Dolezaling.
He was really?
Yeah. Well, that's what
the theory.
Yeah. They're saying he joined the AM years earlier by.
Yeah, right.
On December 22nd, Leonard was put on the FBI's 10 most wanted list.
That's just crazy.
Again, he's really done no crimes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple small things, but
it's a voice. It's a powerful voice.
They're saying he killed the man, and there's absolutely no evidence that he killed either one of the officers.
And by the way, on the same day when other people were killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On February 6th, Canadian Mounties got a tip and raided the remote camp of a Cree leader near Hinton, Alberta. They found Leonard sitting next to a suitcase containing 4 loaded guns. The arresting officer said Leonard shouted, quote, "I'm not going to do anything you say. I have nothing to lose." There was a struggle, and Leonard had to be pushed hard against a wall. Leonard was put into a prison near Vancouver to await extradition. Amnesty International called Leonard's treatment in the prison, including isolation and body searches, quote, unjustifiable. Yeah. His extradition hearings began in May.
The ability for our government and for us to so quickly get rid of any dissenting voices, the more that you peel that, the more that becomes more and more terrifying. The simplicity with which they are able to just completely, for the most part, not only neutralize you legally, but the way that the public sentiment is able to be poisoned so fast, and you are so quickly vilified.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy, but then when people of color start dying around an incident, one of those being Ferguson, when all of the leaders of Ferguson are dying, being killed or heart attacks,
in illegal raids and shit, right?
When what's the guy who was selling Lucy's in New York and got Garner?
Oh yeah, Eric Garner.
When his daughter dies of a heart attack.
Yes, at like 41 or something, younger.
She was like late 20s.
Was she really? It's fucking nuts.
When that starts happening repeatedly, that she's not the only one. Yeah, you're getting a pattern, and that's not something that it's not hard. Can we really in our world, can we imagine the crazy idea that someone might have something that would cause a heart attack in people? I mean, come on.
No, and the truth is too that if you believe that that's possible, it's so scary. Yeah, and that's why people choose not to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. So his extradition hearings start, and one witness, Myrtle Poor Bear, claimed to be his ex-girlfriend, but Leonard said they had never met. She submitted an affidavit claiming she'd seen Leonard, Bob Ribideau, Jimmy Eagle, and a fourth person surround Collier and Williams, and that Leonard fired the shots that killed them. So they have a eyewitness.
Can I ask a question? Mm-hmm. Was she in SAG-AFTRA?
So Leonard's lawyers claimed he was a political prisoner deserving asylum, were dashed. They were like, on June 18th, while awaiting the judge's ruling, a fight broke out between Leonard's supporters and police. The judge ruled that sufficient grounds for extradition had been presented. This was delayed a bit when his lawyers appealed.
Where are they extraditing to?
The U.S.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. I forgot he was in Canada. Yeah. Okay.
Ribideau and Butler's trial began in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. They both admitted they'd exchanged fire from a distance with Collier and Williams, but they denied being present for the fatal close-range shots. This time, prosecution didn't use Myrtle Poor Bear. Because the defense found an affidavit in which Poor Bear had stated she left Oglala the day before the shootings.
And that undercuts what she saw.
Yeah, if she's not there,
it's hard to witness.
That's right.
Interesting.
It's almost like there's no witnesses to the shooting.
Yeah, right. But let them have another casting call. I think they'll find some great people.
Now there's only one supposed witness, a 19-year-old Wish Draper, and he testified directly linking Ribideau and Butler to the murder. The defense convincingly argued his statements were coached and even fabricated.
Okay.
He was an actor.
He was legitimately an actor?
Yeah. Stories of horrible mistreatment on Pine Ridge swayed public opinion, and as the jury deliberated, 98% of the white town of Cedar Rapids held a spontaneous march supporting the defendants.
I mean, can we frame this moment and put it on the wall of white for a second? Wow. That really is a testament to...
I mean, they know them, and they,
Yeah.
again, the people aren't the FBI and the
Right.
law
Yeah. They're
enforcement.
people.
On July 16th, after 5 days of deliberation, the jury found Robidoux and Butler not guilty, saying they hadn't executed the cops and any shooting they did was in self-defense. On December 16th, Leonard was extradited to Fargo, North Dakota,
What?
even though
Extradited in the States?
because the judge had already ruled that Pourbaix's testimony was justified the extradition.
Right.
So after
they could
that,
they could still do it based on that.
yeah, even though we now know she was lying.
Right.
Pretty cool. Leonard was
That is
in
insane.
Leonard was in very good spirits. One of his lawyers said, quote, "Here was Leonard on trial for murder, and he was trying to cheer us up." During the trial, the judge routinely interjected to help prosecution witnesses.
Okay, so we have let me guess the race of the judge. White.
I mean, are there any other kind of judges at this time?
White.
He repeatedly barred the jury from seeing evidence and
Like a judge is supposed to.
from hearing witnesses who would almost definitely prove Leonard was innocent.
Right.
So anybody who said he didn't do it or wasn't there, well, eyewitnesses there, he's just like, nope, can't do that.
Right.
This included Myrtle Pourbaix, who would have testified
That she had left?
that the FBI
Wow.
coerced her
Oh my God.
into signing the false affidavit for Leonard's extradition. So now you have a witness
Arguably the biggest witness.
who said he murdered someone and she saw it, and now she's saying the FBI made her say that and do that.
Is that damning?
The judge said she was too unstable to testify.
Right. Right.
He barred Jimmy Eagle from testifying because his claims of FBI misconduct would, quote, confuse the jury.
Yes, and again, that is not the point of this. The last thing you're supposed to do is water down any of their decisions. I mean, come on, you confuse a jury, you know what happens. That's a hung jury. I mean, that's a problem. I mean, the whole idea of defense is to confuse the jury.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, essentially to be like, oh yeah, that's murky. That doesn't seem, it's not 100%.
Right.
Right.
The prosecution argued the most important piece of evidence was a shell casing from the killer's rifle that was found in the trunk of the agent's car 4 days after the shooting, after being missed by initial investigators.
Okay, so they're following the making a murderer theme.
The defense, led by Elliot Takeoff, I don't know who this is, but apparently he was a known New York attorney,
Okay.
inexplicably failed to pounce on conflicting and very suspicious testimony from investigating officers about the chain of custody of the shell casing,
Nice.
including flimsy excuses for why it wasn't tested until 6 months after its discovery. This is this right here, this thing about this shell casing and being found 4 days later and then being tested, is so common that now it's a hacky theme
Right.
in movies in which they're trying to frame someone.
Right. But this is before that trope.
Yeah. When ballistic experts for the defense proved the shell casing had not been fired by any gun associated with the killings, prosecutors decided the AR-15 found during Ribidow's arrest was the murder weapon.
What?
So...
I mean, even they're murkying the argument. How do you...
So they proved that the shell casing is bullshit.
Right, and then they're like, and it was this gun.
Yeah, and then they're like, found another one!
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
And it was too damaged for experts. So the AR-15 is too damaged for experts to test if the shell casing came from it, so its involvement cannot be disproven.
Right, in the way that I could say to you,
But You have to prove beyond an innocent doubt. So they have to prove that gun, if they want to say it did, they have to prove that it did.
Yes.
That's what
So you don't
proving him guilty beyond innocent.
So then you don't sit down and go, all right, defense, poke some holes in the argument that's full of holes. It's like, no, you're any reasonable doubt. I mean, this should be filed under ridiculous doubt.
It's
Only doubt.
on April 18th, 1977, after 6 hours of deliberation, an all-white jury found Leonard Peltier guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder. He was given 2 consecutive life sentences.
The good guys won.
Jimmy Eagle would never be charged with any crimes relating to the Agent Collier and Williams killings because they knew they didn't want to do that again.
Right.
April 1979, Leonard was transferred to Lompoc Prison in California, where he became a friend with a Mexican-American man named Bobby Garcia. Bobby had escaped prison twice. In May, a new inmate calling himself Richardson arrived at Lompoc. And then Leonard was told by someone outside the prison,
Here we go.
one of his contacts,
No way.
that Richardson was a fake name.
Get out of here.
He was actually Dick Williams' son-in-law, the guy who set up the goons, and Richardson had been sent to kill.
Leonard?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So Garcia arranged for Leonard to have 2 inmate bodyguards with him at all times.
Wow.
Still, Leonard felt like his life was in danger.
Yeah.
Because his life was in danger.
Totally. And you're again, it's not like you're free.
Like if you're getting into prison under a fake name, that means the prison system
Completely.
is behind it.
Yes.
You can't just get into prison using a fake ID.
No, yeah, no, it's not a shitty bar.
At 8:30 p.m. on July 20th, 1979, Leonard Garcia and 19-year-old Lakota Dallas Thundershield set
That's
fire.
a great name.
It's a fucking amazing name.
Thundershield?
Yeah. Set fires in their cells, then used keys made by Garcia to reach the prison fence.
Wow.
At this point, supporters outside the prison were set up, and they started shooting at guards as the 3 climbed over the fence.
Love it.
But prison officials had been tipped off. There was a guard standing outside near the exact place where they exited. He told the 3 men to freeze, and they did. And then the guard shot Thundershield in the back.
Jesus Christ.
Leonard and Garcia then ran off into the brush while the guard handcuffed Thundershield as he was dying.
The
American...
The shoot and cuff thing
God.
is one of the hard, and because now we have access to seeing that shit to desensitize us to make it normalized and feel
That's
fine
right.
eventually.
That's right.
That is truly one of like the most disgusting, and in a sea of disgusting displays.
You have to put yourself into the position of a person doing that, and if you can shoot a man, and let's say they're not armed, and let's say they're not pointing a gun at you, if you can, and that happens all the time.
Yeah.
If you can shoot, like in this instance, a man in the back, and then hog tie him, as he's dying. You're a fucking psychopath.
Yes.
Often you're a white supremacist.
Yes.
And you're doing what you want to do.
Dude, yes. And whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So Thundershield died. One of Leonard's supporters, quote, "The guard was there and he was ready. He didn't know about Thundershield, who decided to join them at the last minute. And it looks like the wrong long-haired Indian got shot."
So he meant
to kill them.
Again, it's when racism somehow plays into the a broken clock is right twice.
He was an executioner.
Yes, and he, because of his inability to differentiate, shot the wrong person.
That's right. Garcia was captured 90 minutes later. Leonard, who was now armed with a rifle given to him by supporter, disappeared into the hills. The AIM called for members to flood the area to confuse the search.
Great.
After 5 days of wandering in the heat, Leonard approached a rural farmer at gunpoint. The farmer said, quote, "I suppose you're going to kill me now." And Leonard replied, "No, I'm not a killer. I'm a political prisoner. I don't go around killing people for no reason at all. In fact, I haven't killed anybody." Leonard took the farmer's truck, but let him go, even though killing the farmer would have stopped him from calling police.
Yeah.
And the farmer immediately called police. The truck broke down after 2 miles. And then the FBI and local police tracked Leonard. One of the detectives said, quote, "The information that we had on him was that he had a very explosive character and that he would not be taken alive." Even though he's already been taken alive, and then
already been taken alive,
he killed the
and
farmer.
Yes,
yeah.
An explosive character. Where do you think that comes from?
Yeah, that is the oldest stereotype of all time. When they caught up to Leonard, he didn't shoot at them. After being handcuffed, Leonard said, quote, "Maybe I could have gotten one or two of you, but I'm not a killer."
Talk about explosive character.
The escape added 7 years to his sentence.
Which were 2 consecutive life sentences.
Yeah. In 1983, Bobby Garcia was found dead in prison. Authorities said he hanged himself, but many believe he was murdered. In 1984...
What we know as Epsteining.
Yes. In 1984, so now years are just gone by. In 1984, Leonard's original prosecutor admitted the government still did not know who killed Collier and Williams. The prosecutor who convicted him said in 1984 he and they did not know who killed the FBI agents.
It's good detective work.
In 1986, an appeals court acknowledged FBI misconduct.
Okay.
But still affirmed Leonard's conviction.
Sure, that's how it works.
In 1991,
retrial?
A now retired judge from that appeals court, so the appeals court that said the FBI done misconduct,
right?
But he retired and felt so fucking shitty because he knew Peltier had committed no crime that he wrote to President Bush saying that Leonard deserved to be set free due to misconduct by the FBI and other government agencies.
And he
did not pardon him or let him out. Again, Leonard, based on this, requested a new trial.
Yes.
The Fargo judge, again, denied the request. In 1992, AIM co-founder Russell Means had a lead role in Last of the Mohicans. Dennis Banks had a supporting role. Means later voiced Pocahontas' father in Pocahontas. Meanwhile, in 1993, Leonard came up for parole and was denied. A former U.S. Attorney General petitioned President Clinton to pardon Leonard.
The sweet Democratic man.
The Democratic president, President Clinton, refused. In 2004, Leonard ran for president as the Peace and Freedom Party candidate in California.
Oh.
I voted for him.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
He got over 20,000 votes. In 2009, he was denied parole. In 2012, a federal judge refused a request by Leonard's attorneys to review 900 pages of FBI documents related to Frank Blackhorse / Francis DeLuca, who had never been extradited from Canada and remained there, apparently free. That year,
Curious.
Jackson Browne, Pete Seeger, and Mos Def performed at a Bring Leonard Peltier home concert.
Wow.
At this point, Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, the Dalai Lama, Ringo Starr had all called for Leonard to be released. A huge campaign aimed at getting President Obama to commute Leonard's sentence reached its peak on January 17th, 2017, 3 days before Obama left office. Pope Francis personally reached out to President Obama and appealed for Leonard Peltier's release. President Obama refused. Leonard Peltier is currently held in a prison in Florida. He has diabetes, high blood pressure, and a heart condition. He also has children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. He says he does not know who killed FBI agents Collier and Williams. He is next eligible for parole in 2024 when he will be 79 years old.
How the fuck does he not get a retrial? Or a new trial?
Well,
I mean,
if the judges say no.
I know, but that is so...
I mean, the system has to say the system is wrong.
Right.
It's the dumbest... the fact that there's not an outside body that is overseeing all of our court systems and saying, well, no, that's actually a political prisoner. Yeah. There's a guy in Philadelphia in fucking prisons for the same reason. There's guys all over our country that are political prisoners sitting in prisons because they were good leaders. And in this case, you have a reservation that is being annihilated by law enforcement, people being killed, axe murders, and the FBI is not doing anything. So when 2 FBI agents are coming to your house, they're coming to fucking kill you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And then we know that the FBI fabricated evidence, had false witnesses. It's a fucking slam dunk.
Yeah. That's why.
I think there's only one presidential candidate who will free him, myself. I don't think there are any, except for Bernie Sanders, who will free Leonard Peltier. Not one. Not one of those fucking people will do it. And it's pretty well known. I don't think Obama was a good president. In some ways, I think my personal opinion is Obama was the most cynical president in my lifetime, because more than anyone else, he got the youth of America to get very excited about his election, and then he told them to fuck off.
Yeah.
And that was devastating, and that led to, I don't know, a lot of those people not partaking in the next election. Weird that would happen.
I wonder what
but
happened
guess who
next.
got fucking elected?
Yeah.
But this to me, when he did this,
Yeah.
I remember I've done anything about how he didn't prosecute Wells Fargo
Bankers.
when they were clearly committing racial crimes.
Took us from 5 wars to 7.
This to me is the most disgusting thing he has ever done from an empathetic human being standpoint.
Well, because the pardoning process when you're leaving office is so absurd.
There is no repercussions.
Well, there's the guy, I can't remember where, I think he's from Kentucky, whatever. He's pardoned like murderers.
He just pardoned a fucking pedophile.
Yeah, he's pardoned like, and there is a little bit of a, but as of now, if you're the president, you can just commute or get rid of sentences.
People are excited for Trump to be out of office, but motherfuckers, when that guy starts pardoning, you're gonna wish you were never in this country, because it's gonna be like the TV show Gotham, where he just lets all the loonies loose.
And that is best case scenario. That is best case scenario. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, to me, that was Obama's biggest crime. That guy has no reason to be in prison.
Yeah.
He is a political prisoner in America because he's a Native American who fought for his people, and there's nothing else there. Literally nothing else there.
Good times. Shit.
Yeah.
Is this going to be our Christmas weekend episode?
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it's the Christmas one.
Enjoy your full stockings.
You can show this to your families.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. Maybe send Leonard a gift in prison.
Yeah. Well, let's get the address. That's what we did with
we can
Tim
do that.
Doc Anderson.
We can do that.
All right, we'll put that up. All right. Well,
we sign.
enjoy
cards.
your white Christmas.
Yeah.
Just like the ones this country's always known.